Hey guys, welcome back. It's Joseph. Quick and simple gospel. Yeshua, Jesus, came to this earth, lived a perfect 33 years, was crucified on a cross for our sins, buried in the tomb for 3 days, and rose from the grave on the third day. We are saved through faith in Christ alone and by no other name. Amen. So, good morning, guys. Hope you're all doing well today. I have an unbelievable decode for you today. We're going to talk about the death of Jimmy Carter, all right? And I'm going to show you how this connects to several things, all right? Number one, I'm going to show you how this connects to the Antichrist, Barack Obama. I'm also going to show you how the death of Jimmy Carter connects to the plane crash that happened in South Korea. And I'm also going to show you a huge connection between Jimmy Carter and the two former Bush presidents. Big connection to George Bush Sr. and George W. Bush, as you're going to see. So, it's going to be a great show. We'll give it a few seconds, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right. Hey, Todd, good to see you. Hey, Mariana. Hey, Dougie. Hey, Katie. Guys, do me a favor when you come in. Please hit the like button. Very much appreciated. Helps out the algorithm and helps more people find the video. And also, please hit the share button. That way we can get this out to more people. All right, we got some people in here. We'll go ahead and get started. And yeah, it's going to be a good one, as you're going to see. We've been waiting for the death of Jimmy Carter for a while now. And as you're going to see, it was on the most perfect day. Hey, Decoding with Cody. Glad you're here, man. And I can't wait to see what you find on Jimmy Carter. But everybody in the chat, make sure you subscribe to Decoding with Cody. Putting out great stuff as usual. But you're just in time, Cody. Here we go. All right, guys, give me a second to get all set up. All right. Let me know in the chat, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Let me know if the screen looks good. And we will get started. Hey, Evelyn, how you doing? And guys, please hit that like button when you come in. Very much appreciated. All right, guys, I think we're ready to go. Hey, Sabrina. All right, guys. This one's going to blow your mind. Jimmy Carter, the 39th U.S. president, dies at 100. This article from December 29th. All right, guys, so we're going to break this down all by the numbers using gematria, which is simply letters as numerals. And once you learn the simple code of coding letters into numbers, you can see right through the scripted coded news every day. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is connect the death of Jimmy Carter to Barack Obama and the plane crash that happened on the same day Jimmy Carter died. It happened on December 29th in South Korea. All right. So, first thing I want to point out here, okay? Jimmy Carter, the 39th U.S. president, died on December 29th, okay? So, the U.S. president died 147 days after Obama's birthday. And notice U.S. president equals 147, okay? So, that's interesting, right? We have a U.S. president, which equals 147, dead 147 days after Obama's birthday. Okay, well, what else happened on December 29th? we had Jeju Air Flight 2216, a plane crash, okay? And notice, again, that was 147 days after Obama's birthday. Well, look at that. Jeju Air Flight 2216 equals 147. And the plane crashed in Muan County, which equals 147. And the plane was coming back from Thailand, which equals 147. And this happened in South Korea. Well, what came out over the last week in South Korea? The #1 show in the world came out. It's called Squid Game, which equals 147. And I just did a crazy decode on Squid Game before this plane crash. Okay? So anyways, that's what I want to start with. The connection to the plane crash, Jimmy Carter, Obama, and Squid Game. All right? So again, the U.S. president died 147 days after Obama's birthday. U.S. President 147, the same day as Jeju Air Flight 2216, 147, which happened in Muan County, 147. And the plane was coming back from Thailand, 147. And this happened in South Korea, where we just got Squid Game, right? Squid Game, 147. Okay? Now, Cody, you're going to like this part. Everybody should like this part. So you guys know I've been talking about Squid Game and the number 456, right? So I just made the connection to Squid Game, right? What if I told you that the show Squid Game is all about the number 456? You have 456 players competing for 45.6 billion Korean won. What if I told you if we go back 456 days before Jimmy Carter died, we land on his birthday? Okay? If we go back 456 days before Jimmy Carter died, we land on his birthday. All right? And 456 is the big number with Squid Game. Notice President Barack Hussein Obama equals 456. Notice Georgia's birthday is celebrated on February 12th, the day in 1733 that James Oglethorpe landed the first settlers. Okay, so this is considered Georgia's birthday, February 12th. Well, Jimmy Carter died 45 weeks and 6 days after George's birthday. So we have two different 456s connected to Jimmy Carter. And I'm connecting this to Squid Game. What are the odds of that? If we go back 456 days before Jimmy Carter died, we land on his birthday. And he died 45 weeks and 6 days after George's birthday. Wow. Now, if you think that's a coincidence, South Korea got a new president just days before the new season of Squid Game came out. They got a new president named Han Duck-soo on December 14th, and I pointed out in that decode, I said, wow, look at that. South Korea got a new president named Han Duck-soo, which equals 456, and he became the president 45 weeks and 6 days before the birthday of player number 456. All right, remember the show is all about player number 456. They got 456 players competing for 45.6 billion Korean won. Long story short, South Korea got a new president right before Squid Game Season 2 came out. His name was Han Duck-soo, which equals 456, and the same cipher, Seung-gi-hun, equals 456. That's player number 456, Seung-gi-hun. And see his birthday, October 31st? So they got the new president 45 weeks and 6 days before his birthday, player 456's birthday. Now, on top of all that, what if I told you Squid Game Season 1 came out 45 weeks and 6 days after the birthday of player 456? And what if I told you Squid Game Season 1 came out 45 weeks and 6 days before Barack Obama's birthday? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And what if I told you If we go back 456 days before Squid Game Season 1 came out, we land on the birthday of Han Duck-soo. See his birthday, June 18th? So if we go back 456 days before Squid Game Season 1 came out, we land on the South Korea president's birthday, who became president right before Squid Game 2 came out. I mean, wow. And notice the June 18th. Let's not forget Joe Biden, Obama's frontman, fell off the bike in Delaware on June 18th, 456 days after he fell down the stairs of Air Force One. So that's a lot to be a coincidence, right? We've already made the connection to Squid Game over here. The plane crash was in South Korea, right, where Squid Game just came out. Squid Game 147, like U.S. President, like Jeju Air Flight 2216, they're all 147, and it was 147 days after Obama's birthday, right? And y'all know I've been connecting Squid Game to Obama, right? How does it line up so perfect yet again? I didn't know when Jimmy Carter was going to die. He just happened to die on a day where if you go back 456 days, you land on his birthday, just like we did with this president. We went back 456 days before Squid Game and landed on his birthday. And on top of that, you're telling me he died 45 weeks and 6 days after George's birthday? Okay. I'm sure it's all a coincidence, right? Yeah, player number 456, his name equals 456. I'm sure that's all a coincidence, right? Okay. Moving on. So I'm making the connection between Carter and the plane crash. What are the odds? Plane crash equals Carter in multiple ciphers. Plane crash is 9743 Carter. 9743. And what are the odds that Jimmy Carter died in Plains, Georgia? That's right. He died in Plains, Georgia. Plane, airplane, get it? Plains, Georgia. He died 2 months and 29 days after his birthday, like 229. Barack Obama equals 229. And the South Korea plane had 181 people on board. South Korea plane, 181. What are the odds of that? Look. South Korea plane carrying 181. South Korea plane equals 181. Barack Hussein Obama II, 181. Barack Obama, 181. And this is a screenshot from a video I did just a couple days ago. This was before the plane crash. I was talking about the significance of the number 181 in the new season of Squid Game, the show out of South Korea. And I made a point to, take a picture and make a slide out of it, because this year in Squid Game, they're taking a vote after every game. And after the first game, the vote was tied 181 to 181. And then, just 2 days after my decode on the 181 in Squid Game, the show out of South Korea, we got a South Korea plane with 181 on board. I mean, what kind of matrix are we living in, man? Craziness, huh? But yep, South Korea plane, 181, like Barack Hussein Obama II, 181, Barack Obama, 181. And then in Squid Game, the vote is tied 181 to 181, the show out of South Korea. So we have a very big connection to the number 76 here. Of course, that's a huge number with Barack Obama. And where do we start with the 76s here? Let me zoom in. Number one, Jimmy Carter died 7 months and 6 days before Obama's birthday. Why does that matter? Well, his name was James Carter, which equals 76, like Barack Obama equals 76 in the same cipher. And Jimmy Carter was the 76th governor of Georgia, where those Georgia Guidestones went down. When did they go down? They went down on 7/6, July 6th. the day that George W. Bush, member of Skull and Bones, turned 76 years old. And wait till you see all the connections to him and George Bush Sr. Let's not forget the Georgia Guidestones are built under the alias RC Christian, which equals 76 in this same cipher. And notice President Carter equals 76. And we're connecting this to the airplane crash, and airplane equals 76. And remember Obama's movie, Leave the World Behind, starts out with the 76 on the coffee cup. Then they got to take exit 76 to get to the vacation house. And remember Obama's book, A Promised Land, equals 76 in this cipher. But yeah, that's a lot to be a coincidence, don't you think? 7 months, 6 days before Obama's birthday, there's your 76. James Carter, 76. Barack Obama, 76. Jimmy Carter, the 76th governor of Georgia, where the Georgia Guidestones went down on 7-6. And then George W. Bush, George like Georgia, right? Anyways, George W. Bush, member of Skull and Bones, turned 76 years old that day when the Guidestones went down. Skull and Bones equals 76. They were built under the alias RC Christian, which equals 76. President Carter equals 76, and airplane equals 76. Wow. And back to those Georgia Guidestones, they opened on 322. You know the number of Skull and Bones? March 22nd, 322. And who was president at the time when the Georgia Guidestones opened in 1980? Oh, look at that. Jimmy Carter was the president. He was president from 77 to 81. That means in 1980, when the Georgia Guidestones opened in Georgia, he was president, the governor from Georgia. So they opened on 322, Skull and Bones, right? Well, he died 44 years after the Guidestones opened. And notice Georgia equals 44. They were in Elberton, Georgia. Elberton equals 44. And notice the Guidestones were 19 feet, 3 inches tall. That's the 44th prime number, right? And he's dead 44 years after the Guidestones went up. On 322, they went up, right? Well, what if I told you, what if I told you Jimmy Carter died 322 days after George's birthday? Can we drop the mic? Can we drop the mic, people? That's right, folks. That's right. He died 322 days after George's birthday, the governor from Georgia. How about that? The colony of Georgia was founded on February 12, 1733 by James Oglethorpe. Georgia's birthday is celebrated on February 12th. There you go. 322. Skull and Bones, right? Now, wait till I show you the connections to the Bush family here. Because remember, both George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush were both members of Skull and Bones. Okay? So check this out. First, we're going to talk about George Herbert Walker Bush, the 41st president. Notice Skull and Bones equals 41, like James Carter is 41. And notice James Carter is 76, like Skull and Bones is 76. So Jimmy Carter's real name was James Carter, right? Notice James Carter equals Skull and Bones in multiple ciphers. But wait, there's more, because his first, middle, and last name, James Earl Carter, equals 149, like Skull and Bones is 149. So what are the odds of that? James Carter equals Skull and Bones, James Earl Carter equals Skull and Bones, and he just happened to die 322 days after George's birthday, the number of Skull and Bones. What are the odds, right? Well, here's where it starts to get really crazy, y'all. And all credit to God on these findings. I couldn't find any of this stuff without God's help. But what if I told you the last two presidents to die were Jimmy Carter and George H.W. Bush? George Herbert Walker Bush died November 30th, 2018. Jimmy Carter died December 29th, 2024. What if I told you the last two presidents to die died 2,222 days apart? Jimmy Carter died 2,222 days after George Bush Sr. 2222. Kind of like the channel name, right? What are the odds? I mean, wow. And of course, the 222, huge number. Order out of chaos, 222, the Antichrist, Barack Obama, 222, the list goes on. Right? The word beast is 222, the beast of Revelation, 222. But yeah, I don't think that's a coincidence. The last two presidents died 2,222 days apart, right? Now, what if I told you this? Because I already showed you guys the 2222 last night. But this is something nobody's seen. Unless you're on my Facebook, you would have saw this when I uploaded it. Guys, try to wrap your mind around this. We're talking about the last two presidents that died, right? Jimmy Carter and George H.W. Bush. Look at the last day George H.W. Bush was in office, January 20th, 1993. You ready for this? Jimmy Carter died 1,666 weeks after Bush's last day in office, but wait, there's more. It was also 11,666 days. Can we drop the mic again? You're telling me not only did they die 2,222 days apart, but Jimmy Carter died 1,666 weeks after George Bush Sr.'s last day in office, and that same day Jimmy Carter died was 11,666 days after that same day? This is weeks, this is days. That's 666 and that's 666. How do you explain that? Pretty crazy, huh? Still talking about George Herbert Walker Bush, who died on November 30th. So he died 29 days after his death anniversary. And he died on the 29th. Right? He died on the 29th, and Carter equals 29, and Jimmy equals 29, and we're connecting this to the crash of the Jeju Air, which equals 29. All right, so there's a big 29 connection here. He died on the 29th, Jimmy 29, Carter 29, Jeju Air 29, and he died 29 days after the death anniversary of George Bush Sr. Well, back to that plane, there were 175 passengers, allegedly, on the plane. And notice President Carter equals 175. Now, back to George Herbert Walker Bush, because Jimmy Carter died 201 days after George Bush Sr.'s birthday. Okay? George Herbert Walker Bush, birthday June 12th. Jimmy Carter died 201 days after his birthday. Why does that matter? Well, he also died on 12/29, and 12/29 just happens to be the 201st prime number. How about that? 12/29, the 201 prime, he died 201 days after George Herbert Walker Bush's birthday. George. Okay, that's the other thing. All right, and I'm also going to connect this more to George Bush Sr., as you're going to see. But guys, they're both named George. He's the governor from Georgia. Okay, and then notice, look, George equals 39. He was the 39th president, right? From Georgia. So George equals 39 too, for the record. But yeah, it was 201 days from George Bush Sr.'s birthday on 12/29, the 201st prime number. The Jesuit Order 201, the full name of the Jesuit Pope Jorge Mario Bergoglio 201. He lives in Suite 201 at the Domus Sancti Marte, which equals 201. Now check this out for some full circle business. When did those Georgia Guidestones go down? Oh yeah, they went down 201 days from the Pope's birthday. Yeah, the Guidestones that I talked about earlier, they went down 201 days from the Pope's birthday. The Pope's name, which equals 201. Don't forget Event 201, the pandemic simulation. And by the way, the Guidestones built under the alias RC Christian. RC Christian is a perfect match to Pope Francis in 3 out of the 4. But if you can believe it, I have more to tell you about the number 201 because we got some very revealing information in the primetime football game last night. Where do I even start with this one? We had the Atlanta Falcons, the team from Georgia, against the Washington Commanders, the team that represents Washington, D.C., where the president lives, right? So you couldn't have 2 better teams to represent Jimmy Carter, right? The Washington Commanders, like the president, and the Atlanta Falcons from Georgia. Now remember, the schedule was made well before Jimmy Carter died on that day, right? And the primetime game just happened to be the team from Georgia and the team from Washington, D.C., right? Well, look what happened after the game. Look what happened after the game. Of all the people that could have proposed, number 39, Jimmy Carter, the 39th president. You're telling me number 39 proposes to his girlfriend, Michaela Worley. What if I told you Michaela Worley equaled 201? On 12/29, the 201st prime number, right? And what if I told you on the same day of the game, we got this article, Falcons quarterback Michael Penix Jr. reveals engagement. See the date, December 29th? Look who he got engaged to. Olivia Carter. Olivia Carter. So, the Falcons quarterback, the team from Georgia, right? He's getting engaged to a Carter. And then after the game, where the team from Georgia lost, like, Jimmy Carter lost his life, you're telling me number 39 proposes when Jimmy Carter was the 39th president? And he proposes to Michaela Worley, 201 on the 201 prime day, when he died 201 days from, George Bush's birthday, George Bush Sr. So here we go making the Jesuit connection, right? The Jesuit order 201, right? Well, the Jesuit order is also 177 and 69, like James Earl Carter Jr., his full name, 177 and 69. Okay, so James Earl Carter Jr. equals the Jesuit order in multiple ciphers. And back to those Georgia Guidestones, remember they went down on 7/6, right? And he's the governor from Georgia. And remember I told you they went down on the birthday of George Walker Bush. It was his 76th birthday. But hopefully you can see this. George Walker Bush born July 6th. Okay? So, that means Jimmy Carter died 177 days after the anniversary of the Guidestones going down. He also died 177 days after the birthday of George Bush Jr. All right? Little Bush. Why does that matter that it was 177 days? Can anyone in the chat tell me? Well, multiple reasons. Check it out, folks. George Walker Bush equals 177. How about that? I mean, guys, try to wrap your head around what I'm showing. Like, this stuff is beyond astronomical at this point. Like, I don't even know what reality I'm in anymore. Like, this stuff is getting so crazy. Hold on a minute. How many times have I talked about George Walker Bush and the number 177 over the years? Because not only is New World Order 177 and the Jesuit Order 177 and George Walker Bush 177, but do you remember the name of the book where the pet goat was located? The pet goat, the 9/11 story, was located inside a book called Reading Mastery 2. Right? How many times have I talked about that? That's the book that George Walker Bush was reading on 9/11. Yeah, Reading Mastery 2. So Reading Mastery 2, 177, like George Walker Bush 177. Okay? And now this is clearly connected to the Georges, right? George 39, he's the 39th president. George like Georgia. And the Georgia Guidestones went down July 6th, the birthday of George Walker Bush, where he turned 76 years old. Remember, Skull and Bones, 76. Don't worry, I'm going to do a full recap on this whole thing. But anyways, he died 177 days after George Walker Bush's birthday and 177 days after the Georgia Guidestones anniversary of when they went down. George Walker Bush equals 177, James Earl Carter Jr. 177, the Jesuit Order 177, New World Order 177. And what if I told you, if we go back 177 weeks before Jimmy Carter died, we land on the birthday of Barack Obama? Isn't that interesting? And what's even more interesting, back to that game, that primetime game with the Georgia team and the team from Washington, D.C., look at the score at halftime. It was 17-7. The old 177. Like James Earl Carter Jr., the Jesuit Order, New World Order. And it just happened to be also 177 days after George Bush's birthday and the Guidestones going down. And, 177 weeks before was Obama's birthday. Pretty crazy, huh? Now, what if I told you the score, the final score of that game, which went into overtime, kind of like Jimmy Carter's life went into overtime. Notice the score was 24-30. Well, what's 24 plus 30? Would it be 54? Yeah, the combined score was 54 points, and Jimmy Carter equals 54. And Jimmy Carter died 54 days after the election at the age of 100, which equals 54, like Jesuit Order is 54 in the same cipher. I mean, my goodness. And guys, please hit the like button when you come in. Very much appreciated. Wow. I mean, how can you say sports aren't scripted? Lined up perfectly. I mean, why was that game even on the schedule for the primetime game? It lines up so perfect. And then you got number 39. Oh, you know what? Back to the 39s. Which, did I get to the 39s yet? No, I didn't get to all the 39s yet. Yeah, remember it was number 39 who proposed after the game? I mean, wow. But I got even more 39s to show you, okay? Because the guy who caught the game winner with the last name Ertz equals 39 also. He caught the game winner in overtime, okay? Jimmy Carter is also 72, like Jesuit Order is 72. All right, here's the 39s right here. So I already showed you after that game, we had number 39 propose, okay? And Jimmy Carter was the 39th U.S. president. Also in that game, the guy who caught the game winner was Zach Ertz. Notice the last name Ertz equals 39 in the game that was all about the 39th president, right? And then also, the current president is Joe Biden. Jimmy Carter died 39 days after Joe Biden's birthday. Very interesting. And Jimmy Carter also died 39 weeks before his own birthday, number 39, who was famous for peanuts, which equals 39, like masonry is 39. And here's another 39 for you. I've been talking about the soon death of Donald Trump for a long time, and I think it's going to happen sometime over the next year. Anyways, I want to point out that President Jimmy Carter died 167 days before Trump's birthday. 167, the 39th prime number. Jimmy Carter, number 39. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. If anybody would like to support the channel, here's how you can do so. Any support is very much appreciated. This is my full-time job, and I am not monetized by YouTube. If it matters, I was up till 4 a.m. putting this together. But yeah, if y'all want to help out, very much appreciated, and thank you very much to everyone who does support. All right, guys, what do you think of that, huh? Pretty wild stuff. Don't worry if you're late. I'm going to do a full recap right now. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes to recap this. Probably 5 to 10 minutes. And then we'll turn it around, and I'll see if you guys have anything to add. But wow. I mean, it's mathematically impossible for all that to line up so perfect. It just is. And for the record, I'm not saying they ritually sacrificed Jimmy Carter yesterday. Who knows when the real Jimmy Carter died? Because look at the corpse that was Jimmy Carter that was being wheeled around and allegedly voting for Kamala and all this stuff. Who knows? We live in a scripted reality. The real Jimmy Carter could have died 20 years ago, and they've had some guy wearing a Jimmy Carter mask, popping up here and there pretending to be Jimmy Carter. We have no clue. All I can tell you, the numbers on the day his death was announced are absolutely perfect and undeniable. All right? In case you're wondering. Because, everybody will, not everybody, but any kind of new people will be like, oh, come on, Joe, he was 100 years old. Do we even know if, let's pretend Jimmy Carter was like not some character in a mask over the last 20 years. Do we even know that the entity Jimmy Carter is even human? Do we even know if any of these presidents are even human? They could just be fallen angels, demons. So, anyways, some things to think about. But yeah, the numbers are perfect. Here, let me take a sip of water, and we'll get going on the recap. All right, guys. So I've been talking about Squid Game for a long time. I was talking about Squid Game all week before the plane crash happened in South Korea on the same day that Jimmy Carter died, right? So, and I connect everything to Obama, right? So, the U.S. president died 147 days after Obama's birthday. U.S. president equals 147. On the same day, oh, hold on, the trash guy is outside. I'll wait for him. All right, he's gone. Okay, so the U.S. president died 147 days after Obama's birthday. U.S. president equals 147. On the same day, we had the plane crash in South Korea. Jeju Air Flight 2216, which equals 147. It happened in Muwon County, 147. The plane was coming from Thailand, which equals 147. And this is right after the new season Squid Game comes out. Squid Game, the show out of South Korea, right? And the show all connected to Obama, right? Don't forget, they just released the new Squid Game 222 days from Obama's birthday. The Antichrist, Barack Obama, 222. They released the first season 10 months and 18 days from his birthday. With, Luke 10:18, I beheld Satan as lightning. Barack means lightning and all that. Also, season 1 came out 44 days from Obama's birthday. And season 2 just came out season 1 came out 45 weeks, 6 days from his birthday, which is the next slide. So I'll hold off on that. But long story short, Squid Game, it's all connected to Obama. Okay? So it's so much to keep track of in my brain right now, even though I have slides, which helps. That's why I make the slides. Not only does it look nice, but could you imagine me trying to do these decodes without slides? I'd be all over. But yeah, guys, long story short, the U.S. president died 147 days after Obama's birthday, the same day as Jeju Air Flight 2216, which equals 147 in Muwon County, 147. Plane was coming from Thailand, 147. This is all connected to the show Squid Game out of South Korea, Squid Game 147, and U.S. President 147. Squid Game, all about the number 456. There's 456 players competing for 45.6 billion Korean won. Okay, we've already connected the plane crash to Squid Game in a big way. So what are the odds that if you go back 456 days before Jimmy Carter died, you land on his birthday. President Barack Hussein Obama, 456. Jimmy Carter died 45 weeks and 6 days after Georgia's birthday. All right, he was the governor of Georgia. So we got a double 456 going on with Jimmy Carter's death, which connects us clearly to Squid Game. Remember, in South Korea, they got a new president right before Squid Game Season 2 came out. His name was Han Duck-soo, which equaled 456. And the same cipher, Seung-gi-hun, equals 456. That's the name of player number 456 in the show. Okay? And we got that news of the new president 45 weeks and 6 days before the birthday player 456. That's crazy. Squid Game Season 1 came out 45 weeks and 6 days after the birthday of player 456. Squid Game came out 45 weeks and 6 days before Obama's birthday. And if we go back 456 days before Squid Game came out, we land on the birthday of Han Duck-soo, that new president of South Korea who became president right before Squid Game. So that's a lot to be a coincidence. His name equals 456. Just crazy. You go back 456 days, you land on Jimmy Carter's birthday. He's dead 45 weeks and 6 days after George's birthday. 456, the number with Squid Game. We're connecting this to the plane crash in South Korea. Plane crash 9743 Carter. 9743. So Carter equals plane crash. Where did Jimmy Carter die? He died in Plains, Georgia. Are you kidding me? Planes, airplanes, hello. He died 2 months and 29 days after his birthday. Barack Obama equals 229. The South Korea plane had 181 people on board. South Korea plane 181. Barack Hussein Obama II 181. Barack Obama 181. This is my video from a few days ago. This video was the same day that Squid Game Season 2 came out. I woke up, I watched all 7 episodes, did a whole decode, and put it out all in one day. And I made sure to make a point that day about the number 181. And that was just days before the South Korea plane crash with 181 people on board. So in my video days ago, I pointed out in the new season of Squid Game, they have a vote on whether or not to end the game after just one game, and they showed the vote tied 181 to 181. Like the number of people on board, right? South Korea plane 181 with 181 on board. Jimmy Carter, the 76th governor of Georgia, died 7 months and 6 days before Obama's birthday. James Carter equals 76. Barack Obama equals 76. Obama's book, A Promised Land, equals 76. Obama's movie, Leave the World Behind, has 76s all over it. You got the 76 on the coffee cup in the opening scene. Then they got to take exit 76 to get to the vacation house. And we're always talking about Obama and the 76. And don't forget the Georgia Guidestones, which were in Georgia, where Jimmy Carter was the 76th governor. They went down on July 6, 7-6. And that was George W. Bush's 76th birthday. Member of Skull and Bones, which equals 76, and the Guidestones were built under the alias R.C. Christian, which equals 76. Let me show you that, because I didn't have it on my screen here, but let me just prove to you. This is the name that the Guidestones are built under. R.C. Christian 76, and let me show you for the record Obama's book, A Promised Land, 76, right? So there's 2 more for you. The Guidestones built under the alias R.C. Christian, Obama's book, A Promised Land. Okay, so the Guidestones went down on 7-6. George W. Bush, member of Skull and Bones, turned 76 years old. Skull and Bones equals 76. President Carter equals 76. And Airplane equals 76. And back to the Georgia Guidestones, they opened on 3/22/1980, 3/22, the number of Skull and Bones. And who was president when the Guidestones opened? It was Jimmy Carter. He was the president. And now the governor from Georgia, he's dead 44 years after the Georgia Guidestones opened. Georgia equals 44. They were in Elberton, Georgia. Elberton is also 44. And remember, the Guidestones were 19 feet, 3 inches tall, the 44th prime number. Okay? Isn't it interesting how those are two big numbers with Obama, the 76 and the 44? By the way, here's another big thing with the Guidestones. They were 231 inches tall. They opened 231 days from Obama's birthday. The first rule of the Guidestones equals 231. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature equals 231. They had a pandemic simulation called catastrophic contagion, which equals 231. That simulation was held 231 weeks after the Clade X simulation. The Clade X simulation that was held 666 days before COVID was declared a pandemic. And then we just had monkeypox declared a global health emergency exactly 231 weeks after COVID declared a pandemic, and monkeypox outbreak equals 231. So there's another connection with Obama and the Guidestones. They were 231 inches tall. They opened 231 days from his birthday. Remember, the devil went down to Georgia? He was looking for a soul to steal. That song was by Charlie Daniels. When did Charlie Daniels die? Look it up. Charlie Daniels died on July 6, 7/6. Pretty interesting. But anyways, Jimmy Carter died 322 days after Georgia's birthday. 322, the number of skull and bones. And remember, that's the day that the Georgia Guidestones opened, 322, right? So he died 322 days after Georgia's birthday, all right, when they became a colony founded by James Oglethorpe, February 12th, okay? And here's where we start connecting it to the Bush presidents, okay? We have George Herbert Walker Bush, the 41st president, and like Skull and Bones equals 41, right? And notice he was a member of Skull and Bones. George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush, they're both members of Skull and Bones. So long story short, I just want to show you James Carter equals Skull and Bones. That's Jimmy Carter's real name. James Carter equals Skull and Bones. James Earl Carter equals Skull and Bones. Okay? And the last two presidents to die, Jimmy Carter and George Herbert Walker Bush. Jimmy Carter died 2,222 days after George Bush died. 2222. Order Out of Chaos 222. The Antichrist Barack Obama 222. Don't forget, Squid Game just came out 222 days from Obama's birthday. The new star of Season 2, it's player number 222, and her name in the show is a perfect match to Squid Game. Don't forget, Obama tested positive for COVID 222 days from his birthday. Wuhan coronavirus equals 222, declared a pandemic exactly 222 months after 9/11. George H.W. Bush's last day in office was January 20th, 1933. Look at this, guys. Jimmy Carter died 1,666 weeks after his last day in office. It was also 11,666 days after Bush's last day in office. Jimmy Carter died on the 29th, the same day as the Jeju Air flight. Jeju Air 29, Jimmy 29, Carter 29. He also died 29 days after the death date of George Herbert Walker Bush. There were 175 passengers on the plane. President Carter equals 175. Jimmy Carter died 201 days after George Herbert Walker Bush's birthday on 12/29, the 201st prime number, like the Jesuit order. 201, like the Georgia Guidestones, went down 201 days from the Pope's birthday, and the Pope's full name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, equals 201, and he lives in Suite 201, right? And after the game, we had player number 39. Remember, the primetime game last night was the Atlanta Falcons, the team from Georgia, like Jimmy Carter's from Georgia, and the Washington Commanders, the team from Washington, D.C., where the president lives. So the most perfect teams you could have playing the primetime game. The team from Georgia and the team from Washington, D.C. So after the game, of all the numbers, player number 39 goes to propose to his girlfriend, Jimmy Carter, the 39th president, right? So number 39 proposes to Michaela Worley, which equals 201, on 12/29, the 201st prime. And we got this article on the same day. Falcons quarterback Michael Penix Jr. reveals engagement days after first NFL start, December 29th. Look, he announced his engagement to Olivia Carter. I mean, come on. So you got Carter there, and then you got 39 here. It's ridiculous. James Earl Carter Jr. equals 177.69, like the Jesuit order. 177.69. Don't forget, New World Order is also 177.69. Here, let me take a sip of water. Hold on. He died 177 days after the anniversary of the Guidestones going down in Georgia. He's the governor from Georgia. He also died 177 days after George Walker Bush's birthday. George Walker Bush, 177. And remember, on 9/11, they were reading out of the book Reading Mastery 2, which equals 177. Inside that book, you find the pet goat on page 153. By the way, here's some fun facts for you. The pet goat equals 153. It was on page 153. The Illuminati equals 153. Jesuit order equals 153. The Guidestones were in Elberton, Georgia, which equals 153. Barry Soetoro equals 153. Antichrist Obama equals 153. Heliofont are the makers of iPet Goat 2. Heliofont equals 153. And when they took down iPet Goat 2 and put it back up, they put it back up 153 days later. So yeah, fun fact. The 9/11 book was Reading Mastery 2, which equals 177, like George Walker Bush. And inside that book on page 153 was the pet goat, when the pet goat equals 153, like the Illuminati and Jesuit order. But anyways, 177 days after the Guidestones anniversary and 177 days after the birthday of George Walker Bush. And George Walker Bush has the 177, like James Earl Carter Jr., like the Jesuit order, like New World Order. And if you go back 177 weeks before Jimmy Carter died, you land on Barack Obama's birthday. Pretty crazy considering James Earl Carter Jr. equals 177, right? And back to that football game last night with the two perfect teams, the team from Georgia and the team from Washington, D.C. At halftime, the score was 17-7, like 177, like James Earl Carter Jr., right? And the final score of that game, which went into overtime, just like Jimmy Carter's life went into overtime, the final score was 24-30. That's a combined 54 points, like Jimmy Carter equals 54, who died 54 days after the election. When was the election? On November 5th, 11-5. Look at the new record of the Washington team, 11-5. Interesting. But yeah, Jimmy Carter, 54, 100 when you write it out equals 54, like Jesuit order 54. And, you know, the combined score just happened to be 54 points, and it just happened to be 54 days after the election. And Jimmy Carter equals 72, like Jesuit order 72. And Jimmy Carter was the 39th U.S. president. Remember, after the game, you had player number 39 proposing to his girlfriend, whose name equaled 201 on the 201st prime day. And Jimmy Carter, the 39th president, right? Well, interesting that he would die 39 days after the current president's birthday, right? And he would die 39 weeks before his own birthday. And he was famous for peanuts, which equaled 39. And back to the game, the guy who caught the game winner in overtime was Ertz. Zach Ertz. Ertz equals 39. And we talked a lot about George Bush Sr., George H.W. Bush, and George Walker Bush. Notice George equals 39, like Georgia, right? And then one more 39 for you. I've been talking about the soon death of Donald Trump. I think it's going to happen in the next year. And long story short, He died 167 days before Trump's birthday, 167, the 39th prime. Jimmy Carter, the 39th president. And again, if anyone wants to help out, very much appreciated. And thank you to everyone who does support. You guys are amazing. And yeah, that's it, guys. What do you think about that? Pretty undeniable. How about that Squid Game connection? The 456, right? Pretty crazy. You go back 456 days, you land on Jimmy Carter's birthday. He's dead 45 weeks, 6 days after George's birthday. On the same day as a South Korea plane crash, which is all connected to Squid Game, clearly, the show out of South Korea. But yeah, you bring all that together, the 147, the 456, Carter equals plane crash. He died in Plains, Georgia. South Korea plane 181 with 181 people. You know, they talk about 181 in Squid Game. You got the big 76 connection, Georgia Guidestones. 44 years after the Guidestones. 322 days after George's birthday. James Carter equals Skull and Bones. James Earl Carter equals Skull and Bones. The last two presidents, this might be my favorite part. You're telling me the last two presidents died 2,222 days apart? And that's not some kind of a ritual? Oh yeah, he died 1,666 weeks or 11,666 days after George H.W. Bush's last day in office. Died 201 days after Bush's birthday on the 201 prime number day. And then number 39 proposes to his girlfriend, whose name equals 201. You got the Georgia team and the Washington, D.C. team in the primetime game. And then the Falcons quarterback says he's engaged to a Carter. Are you kidding me? 177 days after the Guidestones anniversary and George Walker Bush's birthday. James Earl Carter Jr., like George Walker Bush, like the Jesuit order. And the halftime score was 17-7. And the combined score 54, like Jimmy Carter, dead 54 days after the election. You know? And then, 39 days after Joe Biden's birthday, 39 weeks before his own birthday. And you got number 39 proposing to the girlfriend. Zach Ertz with the game winner, Ertz 39. 167 days before Trump's birthday, the 39th prime number. If you think everything I just showed you is a coincidence, well, I still love you. But yeah, it's not. All right. Let me turn this around. Plains, Georgia. Can you believe it? All right, guys, what do you think? Am I crazy? Hey, Cody, good to see you. Are you going live today, Cody? Or are you putting out an upload? What are you doing on Jimmy Carter? Let me know so I can tell the people. Hey, Caesar. Hey, John Steele. Hey, saved by the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Hey, Fender, good to see you. Do I believe there will be a rapture? I sure do. Absolutely. I don't know where we're at in the timeline. I don't know if the tribulation already started or not, but yeah, I do believe in a rapture. Many rapture verses. 1 Thessalonians 4:16-17, we're going to be caught up in the air. That's physical, caught up, harpazo. We're going to meet the Lord in the air, okay? Matthew 24:40 says, 2 will be in a field, 1 will be taken, 1 will be left, okay? Revelation 3:10, I will keep you from the hour of trial. Luke 21:36, pray always that you're worthy to escape these things and stand before the Son of Man. But yeah, back to Matthew 24, which says 2 will be in a field, 1 will be taken, 1 will be left. Matthew 24 also says after the tribulation of those days. So I don't know if we have to go through a little tribulation and maybe the rapture is before the wrath of God. I'm kind of leaning that way. It also says in Matthew 24 that it'll be like the days of Noah. people will be eating, drinking, giving in marriage. In other words, they're going to be caught off guard. And I've always said, nobody's going to be caught off guard after, everyone's had their heads chopped off and all that stuff. So I do believe in a rapture. That's why we're supposed to make ourselves ready. And yeah, that's it. I believe in a rapture, and I hope it's soon. But no, I don't necessarily believe in a pre-tribulation rapture, although that is possible. I don't know everything. I do believe there is a rapture. I've also had a few rapture dreams too, in addition to the Obama dreams. I've had over 10 dreams about Obama. I had one dream where I literally thought I was being raptured, and then I've had, several dreams with Jesus in it. I had a dream when I was 10 years old. In the dream, Jesus baptized me in a river. He brought me up out of the water, and he said, "Prepare them." And that's back when I was 10 years old. And here I am now, doing this for the last 5 years. So, but yep, I do believe in a rapture. And if you don't believe in a rapture, that's okay too. Everybody's got different opinions. And I've always said, if I'm wrong and there is no rapture, and I have to go, all the way to the end and have my head chopped off for God, no problem. Totally no problem. I have no fear of death. I have no fear of what's coming to the world. If I got to go through that and have my head chopped off, I gladly will. But the way I interpret the Bible, I do believe there is an escape for those who are born again and made themselves ready. So, anybody else have any questions or anything to add? My eyes are on the chat. Yeah, Fender says, I agree, people won't be eating and drinking during the wrath of God. Right. Yeah. But yeah, I'm fine with whatever happens. Cody says he's probably going to upload a video and not a live. Okay. So y'all see Decoding with Cody in the chat. Make sure you find his channel, and he'll probably have some type of video out at some point. What do I think about Vivek and Elon? They're all part of the club. Yep, both part of the club. The B system is here, full-blown B system. Thank you, Connie. I appreciate it. Yep, Peggy, we win in the end. Yep, that's for sure. Even if we die, we win. Because, what do we really have to lose? Like, oh no, I get to leave this fallen world. I'm so sad. Hey, Jessica, good to see you. Yeah, Cleveland, if you're coming in late, you're definitely going to want to rewatch this one for sure. Remember, you can watch on fast forward, cuts the time in half. That's what I do, for the record, if anyone's wondering. I don't watch cable except, I do watch the, I'm like Cody. I, believe it or not, because of Cody's decodes, I've actually started keeping an eye on the wrestling. The Monday Night Raw and the SmackDown, right? Obviously it's completely satanic and fake, and long story short, there's a lot of symbolism in there. So I don't watch much cable, but the cable I do watch, I watch the wrestling to find the symbolism. And then also I do keep track of the NFL games for this reason, like I just showed you with Jimmy Carter. So, but that's all the cable I watch. Other than that, I watch nothing but YouTube. There was a reason I brought that up. I can't remember now. Hey, Travis, good to see you. Oh, I remember why I brought it up, because I was talking about watching things on fast forward. Yeah, I was going to say I watch pretty much nothing but YouTube, and I watch everything on fast forward. If it's, if it's live, obviously you can't watch it in fast forward, but yeah, if you watch it after the fact. Yeah, Cody, I see wrestling's coming to Netflix too. But yeah, Cody's definitely spot on with the wrestling. It's unbelievable the amount of satanic nonsense that goes on with the WWE. It's obviously more blatant with the WWE. Cody, who is it that they held their title. This was in the last year. The guy had the title for like 666 days. Remember? I mean, it's crazy. And obviously, the NFL is satanic too, but they're not as in your face with it. It's crazy, man. But yeah, the NFL, it's all fake and rigged. Same with baseball, basketball. It's all fake, scripted, satanic garbage. Yep, I agree. World War III is here. I think World War III started with Russia, Ukraine, actually. Was it Gunther or Gunther, however they say it? Here, let me Google it. Let's see. Gunther 666 days. Apparently you can buy the belt, the 666 belt. That's crazy. Does it actually have it on the number on there? Anyways, I don't want to spend much time on this, but here. Look, officially licensed gear. You can go on there and you can buy Gunther's his belt that he had for 666 days. You can buy his belt for $750 or 4 easy payments of $189. But yeah, what are the odds? He had the the belt for 666 days. Yeah, nothing satanic about wrestling, right? But yeah, I do occasionally watch some cable or shows and movies for the symbolism. Obviously, like Squid Game, right? Trust me, I did not enjoy watching Squid Game. That show is nothing but death and evil. But somebody had to do it, right? And I consider myself kind of an expert on the show Squid Game after doing decodes on it for like over 3 years straight. So, but yeah, when it comes to looking for symbolism, doing this for a living, sometimes you got to watch, you know, a wrestling match or a football game or Squid Game or Stranger Things or Obama's movie, Leave the World Behind. I mean, how much did we find in that movie? You know what I mean? Yeah, and Cody, he's found a lot from that show Lost, you know. But yep, you can definitely see Satan's got his fingerprints all over the whole entertainment industry, all of it. But anyways, I don't want to keep this too long. Hopefully more people will watch it. Does anybody have anything else on Jimmy Carter before we wrap it up? If not, we will we'll wait for Cody's video to see what else we can find. But yeah, I was actually shocked because obviously, we've been waiting for Jimmy Carter all year, and I figured, there'd be some numbers there. There'd be a little bit there. I had no idea, I had no idea it'd be a decode I worked on for 8 hours, connected to Squid Game and a plane crash in South Korea, and connected to the football game, and connected to George Bush Sr. and George. Are they technically not senior, right? Let's see. Is George Bush is George H.W. Bush a senior? Because he's George Herbert Walker Bush, right? And the other one is George W. Bush, right? They're not junior and senior, are they? I know that's kind of silly, and it doesn't really matter. But yeah, throughout the show, I've been calling him George Bush Sr., George Bush Jr. I don't think he's I'm just looking for technically. Is he? Let me know in the chat. He's technically not officially a junior, right? Because they're slightly different names. Just like me and my dad. My dad's name was Joseph Vincent Acquaviva. I'm Joseph Stephen Acquaviva. So I'm not a junior, even though we got the same first and last name. But growing up, I was always, Joey Jr., even though I'm not a real junior. But no, I don't think he's officially a junior, right? George Walker Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush. So I guess that's the difference. Again, it doesn't matter at all. I'm just curious. Yeah, his name is not George Walker Bush Jr. So I guess the Herbert makes all the difference. You throw the Herbert in there, and like Herbert Hoover. We'll see what happens with the old Herbert Hoover prediction between now and the inauguration. Remember, still a chance. Could see old President Kamala Harris. Of course, we had the Gerald Ford prediction about the first female president in the Herbert Hoover Library. And long story short, Herbert Hoover died the same day Kamala Harris was born. All right. And remember, if Joe Biden decides to step down or kick the bucket between now and inauguration, we would have a President Kamala Harris. And don't forget, not only did Herbert Hoover die the same day Kamala Harris was born, but Herbert Hoover was born on the 222nd day of the year, day number 222. And President Kamala Harris equals 222. President Harris equals 222. Vice President Harris equals 222. And also, the wrestler, back to wrestling. Here you go. The wrestler Kamala with the last name Harris, remember him? He died on August 9th, 2020, a leap year. He died on the 222nd day of the year, 222. And he died just 2 days before Kamala was picked as the VP pick. And remember, he died 2 months and 12 days from his birthday. He died 2 months and 12 days from her birthday. And Kamala Harris equals 212. All right, and then don't forget all the 152 stuff with Kamala. Remember Kamala Devi Harris, 152, female president, 152. Joe Biden, 152. They told him to pass the torch, which is 152. He dropped out of the race and endorsed Kamala 15 weeks and 2 days before the election. And Kamala became president for over an hour when Biden had the colonoscopy, and colonoscopy was 152. And the episode of The Simpsons, Bart to the Future, which had Lisa Simpson looking like Kamala at the inauguration, that aired 152 days from Kamala's birthday. And then you had Trump at the Pennsylvania McDonald's on Kamala's birthday saying he would do everything behind the counter. Do everything was 152. And it was on Kamala's birthday in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania equals 152. And then you had Trump meet with Joe Biden after he won the election. It was 152 days from Trump's birthday. And then, what was the other 152s? There's so many. You know what? Now I'm going to have to extend this live stream and look it up. The old 152 list. I know we just got some big 152s recently. I don't want to forget them, so let me look them up. One second. Yeah, Joe Biden equals 152. Pass the torch, 152. Colonoscopy, 152. Remember the day that Joe Biden dropped out of the race? We had Xander Schauffele won the 152nd Open Championship in golf. And Xander Schauffele equals 152. Okay, remember? Okay, so Trump was serving French fries at a Pennsylvania McDonald's on Kamala's birthday. Kamala Devi Harris, 152, female president, 152. Pennsylvania 152. Okay, Luigi Mangione, all connected to Trump. Remember? Luigi Mangione was arrested at a Pennsylvania McDonald's, right? He was arrested 152 days after Brian Thompson's birthday. Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO, right? Remember the Dodgers won the World Series to stay on 152 postseason losses, and they won 152 days after their manager's birthday. They won the World Series, the team from California, like Kamala's from California. Remember when Eminem was with Obama at the Kamala Harris rally? They were rapping to Lose Yourself in Michigan. Lose Yourself 152, Michigan 152. Marshall Bruce Mathers III 152. He said the spotlight is on us, go out and vote 152. And remember, Eminem was with Obama in Michigan 103 days after the song Antichrist came out. And why does that matter? Because Obama equals 103, Eminem equals 103. They were together in Michigan 103 days after the song Antichrist came out. The first part of that song says the devil came to Michigan. But yeah, Joe Biden 152, Kamala Devi Harris, female president, passed the torch, colonoscopy. Joe Biden dropped out 15 weeks and 2 days before the election. Fox News called Kamala's dad a combative Marxist economist, which equaled 152. Remember the last football game? The last football game that was played before the election was the Chiefs and the Buccaneers, and Andy Reid picked up win number 152 of his career, and Patrick Mahomes equals 152, and I believe Andy Reid's birthday this year is 152 days from Kamala Harris's birthday, right? Hold on. Yeah, Andy Reid's birthday this year, March 19th, 2024, 152 days from Kamala's birthday. And he picked up, it was the last game before the election, he picked up win number 152 total with the Chiefs. And Patrick Mahomes 152. KC Chiefs is 152. The Chiefs just won the Super Bowl last year, right? They went to the White House on day number 152 of the year to meet with Joe Biden, which equals 152. Pretty crazy. Let's see. Oh, we have another 152. This came out after the election. Pollster Nate Silver calls on Biden to resign after claiming he isn't competent to be president right now. And Fox News highlighted competent to be president right now, which equals 152. But yeah, long story short, guys, there's still a chance. And, if it doesn't happen, I'll be a little bit confused. But we'll move on. And if you're, just heads up, if you're like an undercover hater waiting for me to like end my channel, if Kamala doesn't become president, you can think again, because I'm not ending my channel. I mean, the numbers were there. I'll have to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out why. Why did it line up so perfectly for Kamala? But hey, at the end of the day, she was president for over an hour when Biden had the colonoscopy. And there's no denying colonoscopy 152, Joe Biden 152, Kamala Devi Harris 152, passed the torch 152. He did drop out 15 weeks, 2 days from the election, and, a million other 152. So if it doesn't happen, oh well. I tried my best. But anyways, we'll see what happens. Still a chance we could see President Kamala Harris before the inauguration. You never know. but we'll see. But yeah, she was president technically for over an hour. So, and my other remember I've had 2 predictions over the last 5 years. Well, technically, I guess technically 4 predictions. Number 1, I predict that Obama's the Antichrist. Number 2, I predict that Jesus is coming soon. So, there's 2. But the other 2, the real predictions, I always said Donald Trump was going to be shot. It happened. I did say he was going to be shot and killed. That's still going to happen. But I was half right already, right? Trump was shot. And I always said that Kamala would be president, if only for a short time. Well, she was president for an hour. So my 2 predictions I was already halfway right on. So nobody can be like, haha, you were wrong about everything. Nah, not so fast. I'm doing the best I can. I'm only human. But anyways, let me check in with the chat. Yeah, I think it was actually like 85 minutes for the colonoscopy. Yeah, Kamala Harris becomes first woman to get U.S. presidential powers. Yep, she becomes the first woman to serve as acting president. See, look. See? So I was halfway right. Colonoscopy, 152. Kamala Devi Harris, 152. Joe Biden, 152. Pass the torch, 152. Sorry, I was getting a text. Text just popped up. Tell you what, I'm going to do something very special today. I'm inspired, and I'm in a good mood. I'm going to give a special shout out to a channel today. Now, this channel does not agree with everything I say, and I know not everybody likes this channel, and sometimes he can be offensive to me, but that's okay. I still care for the guy. But some of you might know this channel, and I'm going to recommend y'all check this channel out, all right? And this guy disagrees with me on who the Antichrist is, but something we do agree on the players involved, although he doesn't believe the Pope is involved too much. I believe the Pope is the false prophet. But anyways, we agree on a lot of things. We think the earth is not a spinning ball, hurling through an endless space. We believe the news is scripted and coded. We believe we're living in the end times. We believe Jesus is God and coming soon. But we have a difference of opinion on who the Antichrist is. All right? So I'm going to give a special shout out today to a channel. And I want you guys to go subscribe to his channel. Okay? Now again, I don't agree with everything he says, but he does make some good points. All right? And one thing he's been pointing to for a long time is something that could potentially happen in Seattle on June 11th next year. Okay? And of course, Trump had his assassination attempt at 6/11, which was pretty interesting. So anyways, I want to give a shout out today to a channel, Jurassic Liars. Okay, I'm going to show you his channel, but I want y'all to go over there and subscribe and let him know. Let him know Joseph sent you over there. Okay? So, and he might even be watching right now. I know he sometimes watches my channel, but let me show you. Yeah, thank you, Todd. Yeah, Fry Station equaled 60. French fries equals 60. Donald Trump equals 60. And It was Kamala's 60th birthday, right? There was another 60. Oh yeah, Golden Arches. Golden Arches 60, Donald Trump 60, French fries 60, Fry Station 60 on Kamala's 60th birthday. And by the way, remember Trump served French fries at a Pennsylvania McDonald's, and Luigi was arrested at a Pennsylvania McDonald's, and Trump was shot in Pennsylvania? Who was the arresting officer? Who arrested Luigi? Officer Fry. Tyler Fry, Mr. French Fry. Can you believe it? Don't forget, French fries equals 666 like Altoona, 666 like New York, 666 like Ghost Gun, 666. Fun facts. Here you go. So here he is, Jurassic Liars, Elvis Seattle 611. All right. Now, let me tell you. All right. Make sure you get his channel here. Go check him out. Let him know I sent you. All right. Yeah, like I said, I know in this decoding community, not everybody likes everybody, which is fine. And again, I don't agree with everything he says. He does make some good points. And I like to give credit where it's due. So, the one thing we disagree on, but he does make good points, he thinks Elvis Presley is the Antichrist. I think it's Barack Obama. But I do see how Elvis is connected to Trump, for sure. Okay? And there's a lot of connections, but long story short, when we had COVID, right, you had Tom Hanks, the first celebrity with COVID. He was filming the Elvis movie, right? Remember Tom Hanks, when he told us he had COVID, he let us know that he was losing in gin rummy by 201 points, right? So he was filming the Elvis movie. Well, Elvis got the first vaccination on live TV on Bill Gates' first birthday, and it was in the year 56. Coronavirus equals 56, COVID vaccine 56. And then you had so many connections, but you had Lisa Marie Presley die over the last couple years, Elvis's daughter. You had the Elvis movie come out, and who played Elvis? It was a guy with the name Butler, right? Austin Butler. And then Trump was shot in Butler. And there's many connections, but anyways, I don't agree that Elvis is the Antichrist. I do see a connection between Elvis and Trump is definitely involved. I've always said that Trump is the seventh king from Revelation 17, that Obama is the sixth and the eighth king. Remember, the eighth king is of the seven and goeth into perdition. Okay, I believe Trump was the seventh king. Remember, seventh king Trump equals 222. And like Trump equals 222, like Trump won the election 222 days before his birthday. Like the first U.S. case was 222 days from Trump's birthday. The first case of COVID, Wuhan coronavirus 222, that was in King County, Seattle. All right, for the record. But anyways, I think Trump was the seventh king, Obama the sixth and the eighth king. Okay, and I think Biden and Kamala are front people. Like front man, front woman, like Obama told Stephen Colbert, I'd love to have a third term with a front man. So like I said yesterday, it doesn't matter what we see in front of us. It's all smoke and mirrors. It matters what's really going on behind the scenes. And what's really going on behind the scenes, in my opinion, Joe Biden isn't running anything. He never was. Donald Trump actually was running things for a short space. That's why he was needed. They needed a trustworthy face, a patriotic face like Trump to roll out Operation Warp Speed. Remember, you knew damn well it was a snake before you took me in. So we had Obama, the sixth king, Trump, the seventh king. And then as soon as Trump left office, it was back to basically the Obama administration, which it was. Joe Biden. Joe Biden is literally Barack Obama. It's a front man. It's a mask. I'm not saying Joe Biden is literally Obama in a mask, but remember Obama had to walk Biden off the stage. Long story short, what I'm saying, Obama has been back in charge, running everything, ever since Trump left. That's why Obama is the 6th and the 8th king, because that's what's really happening behind the scenes, and Trump is the 7th king. And even if Trump were to make it to the inauguration and he gets sworn in and all that, it's still smoke and mirrors. Obama is still the one that's really in charge. So that's what I'm saying. But yeah, Jurassic Liars, he thinks Elvis is the actual Antichrist. And what's crazy about that, not that I agree with that, but if you've ever heard of the Illuminati card game, they actually have 2 cards in that game that are dedicated to Elvis. So that's also interesting. So anyways, just figured I would mention it. Go check out his channel, Jurassic Liars, and let him know I sent you. All right? All right. Anybody else have anything in the chat? Let me know. And if you're coming in late, make sure you go back and rewatch the first hour, because it's undeniable. What are your thoughts that we're using the wrong calendar? Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, they've, yeah, I think there's a good possibility of that for sure. Again, we don't really know where we're at in the timeline. I think they've done that for a reason to confuse people. But yeah, I think they've definitely messed with the calendars. Yeah, I do have to give Jurassic some credit, because, you know, one of the things he's showing recently after the Trump shooting, which, remember, Trump shooting 195, it was on the 195th day of the year. Like, Corey Comparator was in the crowd, Corey Comparator 195. But anyways, when Trump went back to Butler, which was 84 days later, and that's his prediction. Well, his 2 predictions, one that basically there's going to be a catastrophic event in Seattle on June 11th. His other prediction is Trump is going to get the head wound on Obama's birthday, August 4th. And what's interesting about that, August 4th is 8/4, right? Well, when Trump went back to Butler, right, I believe it was, what, 84 days later. Right, Cody? Didn't he go back to Butler 84 days later? 8/4. Here, let me just make sure. And Butler equals 84, okay? So let's see. I know he went back on the anniversary of the calm before the storm statement, because it was exactly 84 months later. Let's see. He got shot, allegedly, on July 13th. Yeah. It was also 2 months and 22 days later, like Trump equals 222. But anyways, Trump went back to Butler 84 days later. Okay, and that's the day that Jurassic is saying Trump's going to be taken out next year on 8/4. So he goes back to Butler 84 days later. Butler equals 84, right? And he went back on October 5th, 2024. That's the anniversary of the calm before the storm statement, right? Well, he was in Butler exactly 84 months after the calm before the storm statement was made, which I believe was 10/5, and the year was 2017. Exactly 84 months later, he was back in Butler. Butler 84. 84 days after the event, and that's the day he's telling you he's going to be taken out, which again is Obama's birthday. That's why he thinks there's a big connection to Obama, because the 8/4. But the thing is, when he went back to Butler, right, he had a moment of silence at 6/11. All right, at 6/11, that's when Trump's assassination attempt was, right? 6/11. And that's his other big prediction. So those are the 2 numbers he talks about, the 84 and the 6/11. So there's definitely a connection to Elvis and Trump, that's for sure. And anyways, I like to be well-rounded, and if people are putting out good work, I want to send people their way. So anyways, hopefully people go check them out. Yep, 84 days later, and the bell tolled at 6:11. Yep. And don't forget, the Trump shooting. Not only was it on the 195th day of the year, like Trump shooting 195, I believe Corey Comparator 195. Let's see. Trump head wound 195. Yeah. Now, that wasn't the head wound from Revelation 13:3, but it was symbolic of it, right? So here's the thing. If you take the whole verse of Revelation 13:3, the verse about the head wound, if you copy and paste the whole verse, it equals 1,086. Thomas Crooks was exactly 1,086 weeks old when the Trump event happened. And remember, the birthday of Thomas Crooks was 9/20/03. That's the 8,888th prime number. Donald J. Trump equals 888. Trump equals 88. And Trump was shot 88 months after the Snoop Dogg video Lavender, where he's pointing the gun at Trump. And anyways, remember Donnie J. Darko, All About Trump, that movie set in the year 88. The numbers on Donnie's arm add up to 88. The full name of Jake Gyllenhaal equals 88. Back to the Future, they got to reach 88 miles per hour. Trump's number to text is 88022. The raid on Mar-a-Lago was August 8th, 88. The calm before the storm statement was 888 days before COVID declared a pandemic. Hello. Mar-a-Lago equals 888. So, long story short, it was 88 months from the Snoop Dogg video and the birthday of Crooks, 9/20/03, the 8,888th prime number. Okay, here's the other part. They tried to blame the whole thing on Kimberly Cheadle. Remember, Cheats and Crooks. But Kimberly Cheadle was the head of the Secret Service. Okay? If you think the Trump event in Butler was not a ritual, explain to me why Trump was shot exactly 666 days after Kimberly Cheadle assumed office as the head of the Secret Service. Remember, they tried to blame it on her? Yeah, Trump was shot 666 days after she assumed office. Don't forget, when Donald Trump announced re-election, it was exactly 666 days after his last full day in office. MAGA, the highest degree of the Church of Satan. And that same day he announced re-election was 103 days before the election, 103 weeks before the election, 103 days from Obama's birthday. Obama equals 103. Also, when you write out 666, it equals 103. Now, the other things with the Trump event, he was grazed by a gunman 29 days after his birthday. Trump equals 29, grazed 29, gunman 29. It was 29 days after his birthday. Trump was shot exactly 48 weeks and 0 days before his birthday. Trump shot equals 48. Donald Trump equals 48. Trump rally equals 48. And this is just off the top of my head, all this. So there's a lot more to it. Trying to think. Back to Donnie Darko. Remember Frank the Rabbit gets shot, and Frank is a perfect match to Donald in 3 ciphers. And then in I Pet Goat 2, you have the rabbit on the back of the classroom wall, which has a bullet hole in the ear, and rabbit, right? Rabbit equals Trump, right? Rabbit is 25 and 47. Like Trump is 25 and 47. But look closely at I Pet Goat 2. In the back of the classroom, you'll see the rabbit has a bullet hole in its upper right ear, just like Trump. Pretty crazy. Don't forget I Pet Goat 2 equals 666. But yeah, that's pretty much the key points with the Butler thing. But yeah, I felt like it was time to give Jurassic a shout out today, so go check him out. And you know, I'll put it this way: his channel isn't for everyone. You either love him or you hate him, I guess. And I don't hate him. I tell him every day. I say, Garo, I love you, man. I don't know if he believes me, but yeah, I don't hate anybody, for the record. But yeah, I don't think he's a bad dude. Uh, I just think he's passionate, and we disagree on who the Antichrist is, which is basically, his whole foundation of his channel is trying to prove Elvis is the Antichrist. The whole point of my channel is proving Obama's the Antichrist. I shouldn't say that though, because that's not the whole point of my channel or his channel, really. That's maybe the key point of it, but really, and I won't even say that. The key point of both of our channels are, hey, time to wake up, get your houses in order. We're living in the last days, obviously. Whether Elvis is the Antichrist, or Trump is the Antichrist, or Obama is the Antichrist, at the end of the day, we can all clearly see the beast system is here, right? It's going to be one of them guys, okay? If it's not Obama, it's Trump, in my opinion. If I'm wrong about Obama, and he's just some third wheel, and I'm wrong, then I'm going with Trump as the Antichrist. But anyways, most important thing, we're living in the end times. Jesus is coming soon. The news is scripted and coded every single day. We don't live on a spinning ball. So we agree on a lot of things. But yeah, we're just both passionate. So sometimes I know I can rub him the wrong way because, I'm so firm in my belief. And it's funny. He's been watching my channel for as long as I've been watching his channel. And after all these years, we haven't budged at all. I haven't budged. He hasn't budged. But I will give him credit for making some great connections. And hey, maybe he is right, and I'm off. It's possible. You never know. But like I said, I'm human. I'm just trying my best, and I definitely think Obama's involved. I mean, I've done over 10,000 decodes. A lot of them have been connected to Obama. So for Obama to not somehow be involved, I would be very shocked. And he just never goes away. You know what I mean? Then he puts out Leave the World Behind out of nowhere. Weird, huh? All right, let me wrap this up. We're going too long. Hey, Leslie, good to see you. But yeah, I know a lot of you guys watch him anyway, so I said, why not? Let's give him the shout out, get some people over there, and we'll get to the bottom of this thing. One of us is right. Maybe we're both wrong. Wouldn't that be something? Nah, I think one of us is right. All right, guys, anything to add on Jimmy Carter? Any questions? Let me know. If not, we'll wrap it up. And again, if you came in late, make sure you go back, watch the first hour. Pretty undeniable stuff. Yeah, so like Peggy's saying Elvis is dead. Well, his point is Elvis ain't really dead. That's the point. He's he's behind the scenes. He's the man behind the curtain. But yeah, I think see he can explain it better on his channel, but he thinks they're basically mimicking. We had God the Father in heaven, then we had Jesus who is God on earth, and then we have the Holy Spirit, like, the Trinity. And his thinking is, you have Elvis who's like, Satan behind the scenes, and then you have Trump who's like the Antichrist in the flesh, and then somehow Obama is the third wheel that completes this whole thing somehow. I'm not sure. But yeah, he definitely makes a great case for connections between Elvis and Trump, that's for sure. And, whether Elvis or Trump are the Antichrist or not, his predictions on, June 11th and August 4th, we should still, take that into consideration. We should take all things into consideration and not just, put ourselves in a box like, who knows? Because this whole world is so crazy, man. Like, every day I feel like I'm not even in reality. It's like, I don't even know what this world is. So, long story short, nothing would surprise me. And, if Elvis is there alive behind the scenes and, he's really Satan, and Trump is the Antichrist and Obama is like the false prophet, maybe? Who knows? All I know, Obama is definitely involved. And I still think he's the Antichrist, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyways, guys. Yeah, for sure, Jessica. Totally surreal, this place. Peggy says Elvis would be close to 90 years old. Yep. Well, allegedly Jimmy Carter was still alive at 100. So there you go. Yeah, Jessica, that you got it. Obama, the third wheel in this monstrous charade. Yep, that's the go-to line. So yeah, it'll be an interesting show from Garo today. Once he sees I gave him the old shout out finally. We'll see. But anyways, guys, that's what I got for you. For now, obviously Jimmy Carter, again, go back and watch it. We connected it to Obama, obviously. We connected it to the plane crash in South Korea. We connected it to Squid Game. He died in Plains, Georgia. And we connected it in a big way to George Herbert Walker Bush and George Walker Bush. George, right? Like Georgia. Right? The governor from Georgia. And fun fact, if you're just coming in, the last two presidents who died were Jimmy Carter and George H.W. Bush. They died 2,222 days apart. 2222. And Jimmy Carter died 1,666 weeks after H.W. Bush's last day in office. It was also 11,666 days after his last day in office, George Bush Sr. I keep saying senior. Remember, he's not officially a senior. He's the elder, the older Bush. Old Bush, young Bush. But not officially senior and junior. We established that. Ah, man. What a crazy decode this was, huh? I'll be honest, I hope it's a slow news day. I need a mental break. I've been going non-stop, man. Just decode after decode. I need a rest. My brain's about to explode. But yeah, we'll see. If anything happens, we'll cover it. I don't I try not to miss the big ones. Yeah, we're living in the Matrix for sure. By the way, the new season of Squid Game mentions the Matrix. They talk about the red pill and the blue pill in Squid Game. Alright, guys. Let's wrap this thing up. Thank you guys for being here today. Thank you guys for being part of the channel. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Please do me a favor on the way out. Please hit the like and the share. Very much appreciated. And as always, keep looking up. We are living in the biblical end of days. Jesus is coming very soon. I can't wait. And I will see you guys on the next video. God bless.